because I like it.
MJF came out into this ring and said he hates Bryan Danielson.
Every time you step foot in that ring, you're saying wrestling is more important than your family. You're worse because you're addicted to the spotlight. Well, guess what? On March 5th at Revolution, you're going to get all the spotlight you could possibly ever need in an Iron Man match.
Good evening, everybody. TJ Stevens here from PW Mania. We're going to do the AEW Revolution pre-show. A little something different here from PW Mania. Get ready for this to happen more often, but I need a little help tonight. Those of you who may not know, I also host a podcast called the Filter Free Popcast, where we cover pop culture, news, sports, music from yesteryear. I've got my host with me tonight, so allow me to do that intro. I'm your host, TJ Stevens. Joining me as always, Dolla Bill Dave.
What's up, TJ?
And Timmy C.
Who?
That's just like the real one. So
correct.
Surprised to no one. Ed Prather's here. So we're joined together tonight doing this, our first little foray into a pre-show for AEW Revolution here for PW Mania. Excited to do this. Excited to be here. Again, expect more of this in the future. This is a new thing we're going to start doing. And we have quite an interesting show here to discuss. That is AEW Revolution, with the actual kickoff starting in about 25 minutes. They're doing the pre-show 0-hour matches right now. So we're going to talk about the main card because the 0-hour stuff has already started. So it'd be hard to talk about that considering it's already happening. So
can we place bets on it?
I don't know. Is DraftKings, I know they do it for WWE. They do it for AEW. I don't know that.
Well, after it's over, I doubt it.
Oh, you meant just the 0-hour?
Yeah.
That would be cheating.
Oh. Okay.
Biff Tannen from Back to the Future. So let's take a drink.
Gray's Sports Almanac.
Very good. And let's discuss. We got 8 matches here on the main card. A lot going on. The first of which, Jungle Boy Jack Perry against Christian Cage in a final burial match. That is the first card listed for this show. And my first question to you guys, and we talked about a little bit off air here before we started, considering this match, the rivalry that's been building with Christian's injury between him and Jungle Boy, my first question to you is, what is a final burial match?
From everything I've been reading, the final burial match is going to be something like WWE did with the Buried Alive matches. So over the years, there's been 5 Buried Alive matches.
Oh, look at you.
The last one being in 2010.
Wow. I was going to ask that question.
So we had a match. We had Undertaker and Mankind in 96.
Yep.
We had Undertaker and Stone Cold Steve Austin in 98.
Mm-hmm.
The Undertaker and Big Show versus the Rock and Sock Connection in 99.
That was on the SmackDown, wasn't it?
That was on SmackDown.
Yep.
Vince McMahon versus the Undertaker in 03, and the Undertaker versus Kane in 2010.
Wow.
So Undertaker in every single one of them. This will be the first time we've had a match like that without the Undertaker. I'm pretty sure AEW did a coffin match.
Yes.
With Darby Allin.
Mm-hmm.
Couple years ago, but this will be their first final burial match, and if you go by the name, it'll be their last because it's final. But
yes,
nothing's final in
that was our question. So they have an Iron Man match here. We'll talk about a little bit later on. Is this like the casket match equivalent, where it's the last one to get buried loses? But wouldn't that be the first one? I just need clarification here on matches like this. And I don't want to get too deep in the weeds here about stuff like this. This isn't why we're doing this. But when you call them a final burial match, you should let us know what that is.
Okay, well, it's kind of weird that they're having this match on this card, and nobody knows exactly what the hell this match is.
Right.
So everybody's thinking it's going to be buried alive match per se. So we'll just have to wait and see. This is one I'm actually interested in. I want to see what the match is.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're getting hung up on the semantics of it. Jungle Boy Jack Perry is going over in a big way here. This could be the final burial for Christian Cage in AEW at this point, because I think he's sort of worn out his welcome, and they're getting ready for some big things with Jungle Jack Perry. I could see him entering the title picture soon.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Jungle Boy is going to pick up the victory here tonight over Christian. I don't know. At this stage in his career, with all the injuries, I don't know exactly what Christian Cage really has left in the tank. So there's no reason for him to go over Jungle Boy in this match. So I too look for Jungle Boy to win.
Lots of Molson left in the tank.
Luchasaurus plays a part at some point.
See, this is why I completely understand what you guys are saying. And AEW has often said they will not do rematches, which makes no sense. But I think Christian's going over here. He's coming back from an injury. Jack Perry, I don't know where you guys are getting this title picture thing with Jack Perry. I think his performances have been okay, but I think the crowd reaction's been a little lackluster lately.
I think he's like undefeated this year.
Yeah,
So?
he's gonna go over. I'd be willing to
so
bet on it.
so what? He hasn't lost 3 matches.
We have 2 guys wrestling for the TV title on this show that combined weigh 600 pounds. And
That
they're
doesn't
not
matter.
in the world title
That
picture.
doesn't matter in this promotion.
It should. It should.
We're not going to get negative.
You're right. All right. So, but because Luchasaurus being the wild card, that's why I'm going with Christian. I think we're gonna do this one more time in a bigger gimmick match, I guess, because that's why I was confused why this one was. And I think Jack's going to get it in the end for sure. I think Christian's going to win this one.
I think maybe you have some chicanery where Christian accidentally gets hit or something and ends up in the hole.
Both are very possible. Absolutely. Shall we go on to the next match?
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's hit the next one.
This one is an actual standard one-on-one match, which is actually surprising considering who's in it. Chris Jericho is going to take on Ricky Starks. And I say this is surprising because this is the man that invented the Mimosa Mayhem match or whatever it was called and all the other things he's done in AEW. But this is, I believe, the one outside the TV title match. This is the one singles match on the card. So what are your gentlemen's thoughts here on Chris Jericho and Ricky Starks?
I'll start here. I like Ricky Starks.
I do too.
I think Ricky Starks wins the match. There's really no reason for Jericho to go over here. The Jericho Appreciation Society has been barred from ringside for this match.
Everyone's barred from ringside.
But there's going to be something that happens. Somehow, some way. But it doesn't make a lot of sense because Ricky Starks already beat Jericho clean in the ring. So why go ahead and take a rematch like this when you have nothing? I mean, there's nothing to gain by it. You've already beat him.
Mm-hmm.
So granted, I mean, we're talking real world here, but in wrestling, I think Ricky Starks and Jungle Boy are the future of AEW. We all know the rumors surrounding MJF and wanting to leave for the WWE, which could happen, may not happen. Nobody really knows, but I don't see Jungle Boy going anywhere, and I don't see Ricky Starks going anywhere anytime soon. And Ricky Starks has it. He's smaller. He's on the smaller side, but he's a star in the making. And I've been saying that ever since I saw him in NWA. He's a star, man.
Yeah.
I think Chris Jericho has realized what his lot in AEW is at this point, and it's helped put over new talent, and I think he's going to do it here.
I agree. I can't think of a scenario where Ricky Starks is not going to win this match and move on. And, I've listened to some Jericho interviews and read some Jericho interviews later, and I have to wonder if Jericho's going to start winding down here soon. I know that, what is he now, 53?
Well, he's not winding down till at least after January next year because he's got another cruise coming up.
Well, that doesn't matter.
He just came out and said last week that he has no intention of ever going back to the WWE. AEW is everything he ever dreamed it would be, and it's great back there. So
52, but which that's another conversation because I know as soon as they call him for a Hall of Fame induction, I'll be right back.
Well, he went there to do Stone Cold's podcast,
right? And the cruise thing. What I mean is, I think his in-ring is winding down.
I think so. He's still going to be around and wrestle.
Yeah, I think he's going to be part-time.
I don't think it's going to be near as much. You'll see him on TV.
Maybe Undertaker type schedule.
A good mouthpiece for the Jericho Appreciation Society, stuff like that. But I think that his days in the ring, where he is wrestling week in and week out on Dynamite and whatnot, I think that's coming to a close before too long.
Yeah,
but it doesn't make sense for Jericho to go over here. This is a great way to push Ricky Starks. Starks lost to MJF in his title shot and has since beat Jericho. And the only way to make him grow is to keep getting wins over top talent like Jericho. Because, whether he's 52 or not right now, Jericho is a big name for AEW.
Absolutely. No question. And we mentioned, bigger and better things for Jack Perry. Possibly in the title picture. Ricky Starks better be somewhere sniffing that belt here real soon. Because he's ready now. Let's go on. We've taken 15 minutes to discuss 2 matches. Let's go on to the next one. We have the Elite. Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks take on the House of Black, Malachi Black, Buddy Matthews, and Brody King for the AEW Trios Championship. I will tell you guys, a few weeks ago for Warrior Wrestling, I saw Buddy Matthews wrestle live. That guy is absurdly good. His character is phenomenal. His character work in the ring is great. I know that doesn't matter in this match. Omega and the Bucks are winning this one.
Unfortunately,
I don't know this. I can't see the scenario in my head that they're not going. They're going to lose the Trios Championship. It'll probably eventually be to the House of Black, but it's not going to be tonight.
The only way I could see them losing is if they plan on doing something else with, say, Kenny Omega or the Young Bucks. Omega starting to go back for MJF. We could have an MJF Kenny Omega feud coming up. One. So I could see them getting the belts, these trios titles off them and putting them on House of Black. But we'll see. I think the Elite win. But I'd like to see House of Black win. I'd like to see the Elite.
I'd like to see it. I don't know that it's going to happen.
Our producer there was right. The right answer is CM Punk and FTR.
Well, FTR and somebody.
Not him. Our listeners here at PW Mania and our viewers, they'll get used to the fact Timmy has an irrational hatred of CM Punk.
I have that for a few people.
I know, and they'll learn all of those qualms you have over time. But again, I here's the thing. I think eventually the House of Black will win these titles because I don't know who else is going to.
Yeah, and like Dave said, I could see them doing it just to move the Bucks and Omega off to different things.
But my question is, if that's the case, to what? The tag division is pretty full up right now in the heavyweight title.
Well, I think Omega's out on the heavyweight picture for a while. Maybe he moves on to something in the TNT championship or something like that.
Be interesting.
We could see.
Or maybe he's on to WWE.
It's a rumor. Here's the thing. I don't know where I know where he fits into WWE less than I think he fits in AEW now.
I have no idea where he fits.
I can't envision that world. Would there be claiming for it? Yes. Absolutely.
Cody beats Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, and then Kenny Omega shows up.
Or maybe he'll show up at AEW in Winnipeg.
I think Kenny Omega's locked in for the rest of the year, though, isn't he?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because
I think we got a while before Kenny Omega can go to WWE.
I believe they added the injury time onto the back end.
Yeah.
So rolled over. Let's
right, we're
move
15
on.
minutes in.
Speaking of our rollover, let's do the next match. Texas Death Match. For reasons that have not been explained yet, Jon Moxley against Hangman Adam Page. I was under the assumption every Moxley match with the Texas Death Match. We have these two going. Again, I can't envision a world that Moxley doesn't win this.
See, I disagree. I think Hangman wins. I don't think Moxley needs to win. And I think if Hangman wins, it helps put him back in the title picture.
Unless
could be
this,
getting a Hangman MJF feud.
Unless this is Moxley finally taking his vacation that he was supposed to take when All Out happened.
Well, he
I
took
could see
one.
that, but Moxley's one of this.
I do have one guarantee. Jon Moxley will be bleeding, and it will be early in this match.
Absolutely. And I guarantee that Page is going to bleed too. Everyone's going to be a referee might bleed.
They're not even in the match.
Aubrey Edwards just going to come out and blade.
If you listen to our podcast, here's a game we play on our show. Over under 2.5 minutes for Jon Moxley bleeding in this match.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
A minute 10, he starts bleeding.
I was a giant Dean Ambrose fan in WWE when he jumped over. I watched the show when he made his debut in AEW.
I was there.
I was so excited. I was so excited to see him. What could be, and I need something new.
Turns out he's just a cutter. He just likes to cut himself.
No, the sad part is he's right now his AEW career is a one-trick pony.
Yeah,
right now. So
it's like he wanted to leave WWE just so he could do crazy deathmatch shit. Sorry, language.
Adam O'Neill says, "I hope Tony Schiavone plays." Eddie Prather says 1 minute and 11 seconds is his bet for.
He's about right. All right, next match.
We've got the Guns, the Acclaimed, Lethal and Jarrett, Danhausen and Orange Cassidy for the AEW Tag Team Championship. The Guns are retaining. Let me keep this one short.
You have to think the Guns are retaining. With our boy Austin Gunn.
Our best friend,
Austin.
Our new bestie from the Jericho Cruise, Austin Gunn.
Soup partner, Austin Gunn.
Ugh. Don't say that.
You have to think that they just put the titles on them.
Yeah,
I've seen somebody saying there was no reason to put the titles on them. It got heat. You still have to think that at some point, Billy Gunn's going to turn on the Acclaimed.
Absolutely. I think it's tonight, actually. I was going to mention that. I think it's tonight.
So I think it could be the Acclaimed and the Guns at the end with Billy Gunn turning. But we'll see. I still think the Guns win. There's no need for the Acclaimed to go ahead and win it back already. The Guns just won it.
But
heel heat.
I mean, you've got the Guns, which is a tag team, the Acclaim, which is a tag team, Lethal and Jarrett, which have become a tag team. Cassidy and Danhausen are not. So one of them two are taking the fall.
Yeah, I think Danhausen goes down.
It's the Guns. Guns, I think we're all in that boat. Guns retaining here. Let's move on to the next match. AEW TNT title match. Samoa Joe and Wardlow. Again, I'm going to keep this one brief. Wardlow's been booked like dog garbage. I almost swore I'm not going to do that. He's been booked terribly lately. He's hasn't been getting a lot of wins. Wardlow's winning the title here tonight.
Yep.
And I think
time for them to get him on track.
I think Samoa Joe's going to sidestep his way into the heavyweight title picture also.
Well, Samoa Joe's the Ring of Honor TV champion. So there's no real reason for him to have both belts.
Sure.
So he can go to Ring of Honor, be the number 2 guy there for the time being, and not lose anything because he's already won the TNT title. There's no reason for him to go over Wardlow. They were building a monster in Wardlow.
They were.
Not quite sure why
he
they took
wins
the belt off him, but I think Wardlow wins.
Then wins the YouTube belt, and he controls all media with his belt.
Okay.
Very good. Wardlow.
So all three of us Wardlow there. Wow. Two matches in a row we agreed. Up next, Jamie Hayter versus Ruby Soho versus Saraya for the AEW Women's Championship. We were talking about this match before we went on the air. I think the one lock in this match is someone's getting hurt. But again, to me, the best all-around female performer they have right now is Jamie Hayter. All around.
She's good.
I don't know why. And Saraya has not been having positive reviews since she joined AEW. I don't know why you take the belt off Jamie Hayter here, so I'm saying she retains.
Agree.
I don't see in any way, shape, or form that Ruby Soho wins, unfortunately.
No, she's the odd man out here.
I want to see Jamie Hayter win because I want to see Britt Baker and Rebel, who should be on every show,
correct,
turn on Hayter eventually. We haven't seen Rebel on TV in like a month. So, but I want to see Rebel and Britt Baker turn on Hayter at some point and feud over that title. I think they need to get that belt back on Britt Baker.
Great
Since
question.
Thunder
Where
Rosa
is Thunder Rosa?
Still injured. Thunder Rosa is still injured. So
Dave talks to her every
won't be
night.
back for a while.
Actually, she just announced she's now a part of their Spanish announce team.
Yeah, she's been there for a couple of weeks now.
Yeah.
As part of the Spanish announce team.
Has a casket match by the entranceway.
Final burial match has a casket by the entranceway.
Put your opponent in the casket, lock the casket, and bury the casket with dirt. This is Christian Cage and Jungle Boy. Did I mention that? Did we mention that the first time? What are we doing?
That's weird.
Up next, our main event, 60-minute Iron Man match for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. We've got MJF against Bryan Danielson. And listen, this match is going to be one for the ages. These are two of the best to do it right now. I'm sure it's going to be riveting. It's going to be everything you want it to be. There is no way in hell MJF is losing this match. There's no way.
Not a chance.
I would like to say that, and that's how I would book it. This promotion has notoriously mismanaged its champions, though.
Specifically MJF.
Well, no, MJF is the only one.
No, I'm not saying he's champion. I'm just saying in general.
Well, yeah, he's the only one who, as champion, has actually had a story. 60-minute draw.
Adam O'Neill's predictions, it'll be a tie.
Time limit draw at 60
I hope it's if after 60 minutes, I hope it's like 12-13. There were 25 pinfalls in this match.
Well, there was 22 and 3 submissions.
But there's no way you take that belt off.
As long as they don't do like Brett and Sean and have it go all the way to the end with no winner and then in overtime. I liked The Rock versus Triple H way better. I think Triple H won 7-6. But if I'm going to watch an Iron Man match, I want to see some pinfalls. I do not want to see a 60-minute match with 52 minutes of headlocks and arm bars and arm drags. And no, I'm good.
Well, I'm going to tell you.
I don't want to see a 60-minute match anyway.
Ever.
But I'm interested. I want to see how MJF does in the ring for 60 minutes because Daniel Bryan can do it.
Yes.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan's been able to go 60 minutes. If you follow MJF on social media and see the shape that he has gotten himself into, which
crazy.
He's not always been in that great shape. That boy's in great shape right now.
So this is one of the things that we talked about on our podcast and I have a problem with is I think that MJF and Bryan Danielson could tear the house down in 20 minutes. They could have a 20-minute match
with good psychology.
And you could put 2 or 3 more matches on this card.
Women's matches.
With a lot of the talent that AEW has. You have Keith Lee. You have Swerve Strickland. You have so many guys that are not on this card and not being. Where's Miro? Has anybody seen him? FTR is not being used at all. I really think FTR is leaving and going back to WWE.
Absolutely.
Because where are they?
I think Miro's in the same boat.
North Carolina sitting on their asses.
Where's Lance Hoyt? Or Lance Archer?
There's a lot of talent not being used that I think they could have gotten a couple more matches on this card. I'd like to see a couple more singles matches. You have tons of ladies talent. The TBS championship not being defended. You could have had, if you're gonna
where's Jade
if you're gonna
Cargill?
put Jade Cargill out there, you can have her in a 5-minute match. You know she's not gonna go 25 minutes, but you can put her in a 5-minute match and showcase the talent that you have. There's a lot of ladies talent in AEW, and there's only 3 women on this card. So I hope the match is everything that it can be. But I truly think these two could have gotten it done in 20 minutes. 20 minutes is plenty of time for a wrestling match to tell plenty of psychology in and outside of the ring.
I think you
to
lose
get everything
psychology
you need
in an hour.
Yeah, so there's a lot that is left to be desired with the talent that AEW has and is not being utilized. Claudio Castagnoli was on the pre-show.
Mark Briscoe was on the
Pre-show.
pre-show.
So there's a lot of people that could be on this card on pay-per-view.
Darby Allin.
Getting that pay-per-view paycheck that aren't here.
Jake Roberts has had a solid Iron Sheik and WCW career where he's made like 3 appearances and he's been getting paid for 3 years now. Because he only shows up with Lance Archer. Final thoughts here before we bid adieu and let these people go watch the show.
Decent card. Could be a lot better. I agree with Dave. Strike that 60-minute match, make it a 20-minute match. You could add 2 more matches at least. They got some work to do still.
Yeah, AEW still new. Tony Khan still new at this. There's going to be growing pains. They're putting a lot of money into this promotion.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot of signed talent. He's got to figure out a way to start using his talent more because there's a lot of guys sitting there and you lose a lot. I think AEW needs a booking committee.
Yes.
You definitely need something more because Tony Khan doing it all is not working. This isn't bad. AEW is not bad, but they really need to pick up their game because a year ago, WWE was god awful.
God awful.
And Triple H has picked it up and they have picked up steam like there's no tomorrow.
Yep.
And I read that SmackDown on Friday night was a complete sellout with more than 12,000 people. And this show in an 8,100 seat arena is not sold out. And AEW had a lot of steam a couple years ago coming out of the gates. And it's dwindling fast. The numbers are down on TV. They've got to pick it up. He's got to figure out a way to showcase more talent because, for one, he's got way too much talent. But if you're going to have all these guys on your roster, you got to figure out a way to use them.
I would agree with all of those things, but I don't have time to elaborate. We got 12 seconds before the show starts. Go out and buy the show. AEW Revolution. I'm TJ Stevens, Dolla Bill Dave, Timmy C. We'll see you next time. Probably WrestleMania for PW Mania. Enjoy the show, folks.